And we are live.
Just that 5 minutes of talking about uh, um, anything related to George's world has put me in a lot better mood than I've been in pretty much all week. To everybody, uh, not to sugarcoat it, I told Richard I have been battling depression with my family gone. Um, it's been a bit of a rough week. Drew, Krista Crow's friend, has helped where he could to where I didn't feel as alone. But that was the first 3 days were the easiest because he was off work. We went and saw Deadpool Wolverine at the beginning of the week on Monday, and then Tuesday he went back to work, and then that's when the the realization of how quiet it is around this house. I've had Carter and Lindsay pretty much the whole summer. I'm used to noise. I'm used to Carter being right there with me. And it had been real difficult. I wanted to do a video this week on a subject that I thought was pretty cool. Um, I did a little bit of research, but just sitting there reading, um, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I try and then I'd stop. I try and then I'd stop. And I should have known Tuesday, but I wasn't feeling good. It was more of uh, oh crap, this is happening. I'm by myself type situation. So I backed out. I should have stayed on
Mm.
schedule because, like I told you, just talking this last couple of minutes about A Song of Ice and Fire, about House of Dragon, about Fire and Blood. Um, it's a spirit lifter, and it's not a weight. Deck of cards. Um, uh, it's helped. So again, Richard, I thank you for doing these things with me. But
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that it's helping. Yeah, I've said this. I'm pretty sure I said this before on our streams, but I probably always worth saying that depression is usually caused by circumstances that are not entirely in your control, taking away a relationship, and it can cause physical changes in the body. Your cholesterol plummets. It's a physical problem. And if somebody were driving along and they screwed up and crashed their car, everyone would expect them to go to a doctor if they broke their leg, But
right,
so there shouldn't be any stigma. In fact, there should be less stigma, if anything, on somebody who for circumstances that were not 100% theirs. I mean, this is typically the most common mental health problem, and the most common reason is
Mhm.
that a circumstance that were not entirely in your control caused you to lose a relationship, and and it causes physical changes, and you may need to see a doctor because you're not going to make those body chemistry changes happen by willing it,
Yeah.
and so anyway, I just want people out there, anybody who's struggling with depression, to realize that you do need help. You don't need to just be happy and get over it, get on with your life. So talk to people. It's true that talking to a non-judgmental friend can be as effective as therapy for many people,
Yeah.
but you may need medical help, and so if you do, get the help you need. So you as well, of course, but just in general.
Yeah.
Hello, Lady Thistle, and hello, Mother Roy. Your helm helped. So my Game of Thrones book turned to me and said, "It's the Song of Ice and Fire." All right.
We forgot. I am Older Dude, and he is.
Richard York, Asher's two-born son.
And Chris the Crow is waving from the Bahamas, the little bastard that he is.
Good for him. Anyway, let's do it.
All right. Let me get to my
Storm
page.
63, Davos 6.
Davos.
I kept my oath. How could that be treason? Or we could call it the Great Eldrick Escape. And man, it really does remind me of Danny. It makes me wonder if Eldrick really is as much or more of a major character as Gendry going forward. Pod says someone should write a book about getting help when you need it. I think there's a few.
At least two, maybe more.
Their voices rose like cinders, swirling up in the purple evening sky. Lead us from the darkness, O my Lord. Fill our hearts with fire, so we may walk your shining path. After seeing Eldrick's latest theory, I'm not sure this shining path is somewhere I would want to walk. Did you watch that?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay. The night fire burned against the gathering dark, a great bright beast, shifting orange light through shadows 20 feet tall across the yard. All along the walls of Dragonstone, the army of gargoyles and grotesques seemed to stir and shift, as if waking from stone.
Yep.
Davos looked down from an arched window in the gallery above. He watched Melisandre lift her arms as if to embrace the shivering flames. R'hllor, she sang in a voice loud and clear. You are the light in our eyes, the fire in our hearts, the heat in our loins. Yours is the sun that warms our days. Yours the stars that guard us in the dark of night. The stars guarding seems to be a Dothraki, R'hllor, Great Empire of Dawn, and perhaps Targaryen thing, right? And we see the stars were coming out when Cersei leaves Ned, which could represent Quaithe as Ashara, or see Triple Targaryens episode 4, or it could represent Cersei as a Targaryen, see Triple Targaryens episode 5.
Now, with all those common star-related things, could that hint at a singular possible religion that all those eventually broke over into over the years?
Yeah, it could. And we know that there's lots of religious symbolism here. And of course, I think that Ashara is supposed, as Quaithe, is supposed to represent Asherah as the goddess. And so it could be something wrong with that as well. Lord of Light, defend us. The night is dark and full of terrors. Queen Selyse led the responses. King Stannis stood beside her, jaw clenched hard, pointing his red gold crown shimmering whenever he moved his head. He is with them, but not of them, Davos thought. Princess Shireen is between them. Ouch! You know, between you when they lead the conflict. There's some serious foreshadowing right there.
Yeah.
The mottled gray patches on her face and neck almost black in the firelight. Lord of Light, protect us, the queen sang. The king did not respond with the others. He was staring into the flames. Davos wondered what he saw there. Another vision of the war to come? Something closer to home? Of course, Davos is worried that people might be seeing what he's about to be up to.
Yeah.
R'hllor, who gave us breath, we thank you, sang Melisandre. R'hllor, who gave us day, we thank you. We thank you for the sun that warms us, Queen Selyse and the other worshippers replied. We thank you for the stars that watch us. We thank you for our hearts and for our torches that keep the savage dark at bay. There were fewer voices saying their responses than there had been the night before, it seemed to Davos. Fewer faces flushed with orange light about the fire. Would there be fewer still on the morrow, or more? And that could refer to the fact that he's wondering whether they will be proven correct as they see the future. They see Joffrey's death. Perhaps they see what he's planning, right? And so will this inspire more followers to come, or will they continue to dwindle away, right?
It is odd that she does not see this plan in her flames.
Well, she looks for threats to herself, and she looks for the
but I mean, this does involve.
Yeah, you're right, because it thwarts her plans for the war,
and she has pushed for it and pushed for it. So it is in the front of her brain that she wants Gendry.
Maybe she was always seeing Shireen, and she thought she was seeing Eldrick.
It is Baratheon blood.
Yeah, I wonder. Anyway, the voice of Sir Axel Florent rang loud as a trumpet. He stood barrel-chested and bandy-legged, firelight washing his face like a monstrous orange tongue. Davos wondered if Sir Axel would thank him after. The work they did tonight might well make him king's hand as he dreamed. Melisandre cried, "We thank you for Stannis, by your grace our king. We thank you for the pure white fire of his goodness, for the red sword of justice in his hand, for the love he bears his leal people. Guide him and defend him, R'hllor, and grant him strength to smite his foes." "Grant him strength," answered Queen Selyse, Sir Axel, Devon, and the rest. Grant him courage! Grant him wisdom! When he was a boy, the Septons had taught Davos to pray to the crow for wisdom, to the warrior for courage, to the smith for strength. It was the mother he prayed to now to keep his sweet son Devon safe, the Red Woman's demon god. Oh, and I will talk about it later. Lord Davos, we'd best be about it. Sir Andrew touched his elbow down. My lord? The title still rang queer in his ears. Yet Davos turned away from the window. Aye, it's time. Stannis, Melisandre, and the Queensmen would be at their prayers an hour or more. The Red Priests lit their fires every day at sunset, thank the Lord for the day just ended. To send his son back on the morrow to banish the gathering darkness. A smuggler must know the tides and when to seize them. That was all he was at the end of the day. Davos the smuggler. His maimed hand rose to his throat for his luck. Found nothing. He snatched it down and walked a bit more quickly. And of course, this is supposed to remind us of Jaime and the way he's constantly, forgetting that he's lost his hand as well, right?
Right. And we get the hand imagery with Jon with his burnt hand, stretching and moving his fingers.
It's interesting that it's placed between those two as well, the book here. His companions kept pace, matching their strides to his own. The bastard Nightsong had a pox-ravaged face and an air of tattered chivalry. Sir Gerald Gower was broad, bluff, and blond. Sir Andrew Estermont stood a head taller with a spade-shaped beard and shaggy brown eyebrows. They were all good men in their own ways, Davos thought. They will all be dead men soon if the Night goes back. So good men.
Go ahead.
Good men reminds me of the mysterious four loyal men with Willem Darry, who stole Dany from Stannis.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. We've got the baby swap.
There's 5 if you count the Maester, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a common theme with George is repeating, not necessarily the same tropes, but letting the story rhyme, meaning that it somewhat mirrors, even though it's distorted. And baby swap with Jon, with the potential baby swap with Ned. Now you got the fleeing from Dragonstone.
And this is once again someone being smuggled away from Stannis, right? And it's and if you've seen, well, I know you have, but for people who have seen Preston's video on the Page of Lies, he specifically goes through the list and he's like it's probably supposed to line up with the people with young Griff. And so that's part of why he thinks that the person with the soft hands might have been a Maester. And here, if we count it, it's 5 people when you include the Maester, right? And so they're both 5 people, and it could be hinting that it was in fact the Maester, as Preston has speculated, right? Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Also, to stay on that mirror rhyming a little bit, they're whisking away a bastard. Whether it's Dany, whether it's Aegon, they're whisking away another bastard,
or at least somebody who's supposed to be arguably a bastard based on bigamy and the question of legitimacy of the second marriage, similar to the Yorks and therefore the Starks, right? So the Great Busey thinks that Davos was the smuggler who got Dany to Viserys and Rhaella. Toodles thinks it was Oswell, but both agree that Dany is Rhaegar and Lyanna's daughter. The Great Busey has this crazy idea, though, that Val, Aegon, and Dany are triplets. What madness! See Triplet Targaryen.
Oh, goodness.
Actually,
I know we didn't originally, we're not the... when it comes to a theory, there is only one person who thought about it first. All right? And seeing how old these books are, nobody that made YouTube videos when YouTube first came out was the first person to think of it. They were the first person to say it.
Right.
And having similar opinions not necessarily means you went through and scrolled everybody's YouTube channel. And because there is a recent person, and I don't name names on here, but there is a recent person that the titles themselves are just titles that were on somebody else's video, and now that person's doing a shorter video and saying the exact same things. I mean, I see an ideal thief trying to get views. That's the last thing we do is try to get views. I mean, this channel, as much fun and therapy as it's given me today, has never been on the forefront of anything that I've done around this house or on a day-to-day basis, especially this year, because I don't know how many of live streams I've missed. But getting back to that, I love that I think I did a video where um, I pointed out it could have been one, it could have been two, it could have been three. I was definitely leaning towards two, possibly three, and then it wasn't until I watched your video that the three, um, and if I'm not mistaken, in that video, I think I might have even said the same people, but it wasn't one of those that it's a hill I'm going to die on. It's potential with George, you never know. But then I watched your videos, and I highly recommend them to anyone that hasn't watched them. Uh, but I was like, okay, now this is the hill I'm going to die on. He's convinced me. He's. I know there's other people out there that have said it, but I never saw any of their videos. I saw yours,
Sure.
and you weren't plagiarizing anyone. This is a theory that you did.
But I said that this is. I think I say it at like the end of every video. Thanks to the
Right.
great Pete for telling me about this theory.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
it's
mean, but
interesting.
it's one that you really liked. You really felt good about. This is the hill you're going to die on, and you made your videos. Well, your videos
First, I posted it on
convinced.
Reddit because he'd mentioned this in comments, right? He'd mentioned in comments that he thought that this was what was going on, that it was these three, right?
Mhm.
So I started digging through it. I'm like, yeah, this Val, it kind of it explains why Arthur Dane would be in the north. It it makes the story be about what the story is about, which is the erasure of female, and so there should be a female heir, and R plus L should be about the erasure of that female heir. So
Mhm.
it kind of fits the theme. It fits the why is Arthur up there, and it's like, yeah, this whole thing makes sense.
Well, I mean, even in House of the Dragon and Fire and Blood, uh, with the Great Council, or the Queen that never was, or the Queen that should have been, or whatever her nickname is, and the current Queen that's been usurped. I mean, you see it over and over again, trying to replace the female
Right,
in the story, and it's a
right.
repeated
And Paul is saying, right,
message.
these theories existed long before the YouTube channels and the show came along.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So everybody that's tooting their own horn about this and that, they're not the first person to say it.
Of course not.
I guarantee there's been book clubs over the years uh, that everything that's been said on YouTube probably has been said in somebody's book club. Um, uh, Doing the research the old way, going to the library, just
So I originally wrote this stuff on Reddit after seeing his, and then digging through and being convinced that, oh yeah, he's right. And then I posted it on, and I tagged him, and he said, thank you for writing this up. This is great. More people need to see this. I appreciate it, right?
yeah.
And I tried to get his feedback on the tripletarians and kind of ban it. Maybe he stopped being on Reddit. Maybe he's, I mean, it's a pandemic. He could have died for all I know. But
Yeah.
I've never been able to contact him after that.
Well, I mean, not to toot our own horns, you compliment me a lot as far as the way my brain works and then the way your brain works. That's like, I'm like, Varys has got to be here.
Yeah,
Somebody's him. I'm looking, and I was going slow, looking at any chapter that had to do with
yeah.
King's
You're right.
Landing.
That's just how Varys operates. That he should
Yeah.
be somebody.
And then
Yes,
when you pointed, I didn't get there yet, but when you pointed out Dorcas, I'm like, yep, that's it right there. 100%. That's a hill that
yep.
we're both willing to die on. All right.
Yeah. And Pod was probably laughing at us because he knew what name Dorcas meant. And like, yeah.
Sorry. We went a
Anyway,
little bit rant there. Sorry about that.
yep. Fire is a living thing, the Red Woman told him when he asked her to teach him how to see the future of the flames. It is always moving, always changing, like a book whose letters dance and shift, even as you try to read them. It takes years of training to see the shape beyond the flames, and more years still to learn to tell the shapes of what will be or what may be or what was. Even then it comes hard, hard. You do not understand that, men of the Sunset Lands. Davos asked her then how it was that Sir Axel had pulled trick of it so quickly. To that she only smiled enigmatically and said, "Any cat may stare into a fire and see red mice at play." He had not lied to his kingsmen about that or any of it. The Red Woman may see what we intend. "We should start by killing her then," urged Lewis. "I know a place where we could waylay her, 4 of us with sharp swords." "It would doom us all," said Davos. "Maester Cresson tried to kill her. She knew it once. From her flames, I guess. It seems to me that she is very quick against any threat to her own person. But surely she cannot see everything. If we ignore her, perhaps we might escape her notice." Yeah, yes, as the Nauticast podcast has pointed out, he doesn't mention the fact that he's already discussed this with her and that he tried to kill her. But anyway, there is no honor.
Well, I mean, you had to make that mistake to know not to make that mistake now.
Yeah, but I mean, he's had it confirmed by her that she saw it coming. "There is no honor in hiding and sneaking," objected Sir Tristan Hill, who had been a sunglass man before Lord Gunser went to Melisandre's fires. "Is it so honorable to burn?" Davos asked him. "You saw Lord Sunglass die. Is that what you want? I don't need men of honor now. I need smugglers. Are you with me or no?" They were. Gods be good, they were. Maester Pylos was leading Edric Storm through the sums when Davos pushed open the door. Sir Andrew was close behind him. The others had been left to guard the steps and cellar door. Maester broke off. "That will be enough for now, Edric." Boy was puzzled by the intrusion. "Lord Davos, Sir Andrew, you were doing sums." Sir Andrew smiled. "I hated sums when I was your age, cuz. I don't mind them so much. I like history best, though. It's full of tales." "Edric," said Maester Pylos, "run and get your cloak now. You're to go with Lord Davos." "I am?" Edric got to his feet. "Where are we going?" His mouth set stubbornly. "I won't go pray to the Lord of Light. I'm a warrior's man like my father." "We know," Davos said. "Come, you must not dawdle." Edric donned a thick, hooded cloak with undyed wool. Maester Pylos helped him fasten it and pulled the hood up to shadow his face. "Are you coming with us, Maester?" the boy asked. "No." Pylos tucked the chain of many metals he wore about his neck. "My place is here on Dragonstone. Go with Lord Davos now. Do what he says. He is the king's hand, remember? Did I tell you about the king's hand? The hand speaks with the king's voice." "That's so. Go now." Davos had been uncertain of Pylos. Perhaps he resented him for taking old Crescent's place. Now he could admire the man's courage. This could mean his life as well. Outside the Maester's chambers, Sir Gerald Gower waited by the steps. Edric Storm looked at him curiously. As they made the descent, he asked, "Where are we going, Lord Davos?" "To the water. A ship awaits you." "What ship?" "One of Solidor's songs. Solid's a good friend of mine." "I shall go with you, cousin," Sir Andrew assured him. "There's nothing to be frightened of." So Andrew is actually first cousin to Robert Stannis, first cousin once removed to Edric. Andrew's father is Robert's uncle, specifically his mother's brother. I had to look it up because I was curious what the relationship was. Nothing existed before the internet, pod. Also, happy Friday. "I am not frightened," Edric said indignantly. "Only, is Shireen coming too?" "No," said Davos. "The princess must remain here with her father and mother." "I have to see her then," Edric explained. "To say my farewells. Otherwise she'll be sad." "Sad as if she sees you burn." "There is no time," Davos said. "I will tell the princess that you were thinking of her, and you can write when you get where you're going." Boyfriend, "Are you sure I must go? Why would my uncle send me from Dragonstone? Please him. I never meant to." Got that stubborn look again. "I want to see my uncle. I want to see King Stannis." Sir Andrew and Sir Gerald exchanged a look. "There's no time for that, cousin," Sir Andrew said. "I want to see him," Edric insisted louder. "He does not want to see you," Davos had to say something at the point. "I am his hand. I speak with his voice. Must I go to the king and tell him you would not do as you were told? Do you know how angry that will make him? Have you ever seen your uncle angry?" He pulled off glove and showed the boy the 4 fingers that Stannis had shortened. I have. It was all lies. There had been no anger in Stannis Baratheon when he cut the ends off his Onion Knight's fingers. Only an iron sense of justice. But Edric Storm had not been born then. Could not know that. And the threat had the desired effect. He should not have done that, the boy said. We let Davos take him by the hand, draw him down the steps. Bastard Night's Son joined them at the cellar door. They walked quickly across a shadowed yard and down some steps, the tail of a frozen dragon. Louis the fishwife and Omer Blackberry waited at the postern gate, 2 guards bound and trussed at their feet. The boat? Davos asked them. So, frozen dragon is an interesting statement, isn't it?
Yes.
And I think this actually is one of the chapters that mentions the ice dragon. Anyway, it's there, Louis said. Where's the galley anchored just past the point? Ad Prendos. What madness is this? Davos chuckled. A ship named after a madman. Yes, that's fitting. Saul had a streak of the pirate's black humor. He went to one knee before Edric Storm. I must leave you now, he said. There's a boat waiting to row you out to a galley. Then it's off across the sea. You're Robert, so I know you'll be brave no matter what happens. I will, only, the boy hesitated. Think of this as an adventure, my lord. Davos tried to sound hale and cheerful. It's the start of your life's great adventure. May the warrior defend you. May the Father judge you justly, Lord Davos. The boy went with his Sir Andrew at the postern gates. The others followed, all but the bastard Night's Son. Father, judge me justly, Davos thought. It was the king's judgment that concerned him now. These two? Asked Sir Roland of the guards when he had closed the gate. Drag them into a cellar, said Davos. You can cut them free when Edric's safely underway. So Roland, the bastard, will be named Castellan of Dragonstone. Some speculate he's in a conspiracy with Arrayne Waters and Loras Tyrell. I would argue that would arguably better fit the pattern of questionable loyalty and Kingsguard betrayal if there were that conspiracy rather than a storming of the castle. Not that there's never a storming of the castle in our stories, because we do have, Pike, for example, right? But
yeah.
But in general, the predominant pattern we see, especially when there's a siege, is that there's some sort of traitorous activity going on, people of questionable loyalty, and so it does feel to me like that actually does fit the overall pattern that we see over and over again better than Loras stormed the castle. Although I do like how people point out that it makes him more like the Hound if he actually did get boiling oil on him. So I don't know. I can see reasons for that to go either direction.
As I don't know what as prideful and as uppity as Sir Loras is, he's a cracked, mirrored version of the Hound at certain times, where the Hound has the burnt face and everyone considers him ugly, but deep down inside he has honor, more so than almost any knight we find in this story. Loras has honor too, but he's the other side of that mirror or coin, where he has the looks. And then once, I agree with you, once the oil gets poured on him and the looks go away, is he going to stay similar to the Hound, or is he going to go down a darker path because of how pride? See, JB lost his hand and became a better man. Is Loras going to lose his looks and become a better man, or is he going to go down the dark rabbit hole that is his future?
Yeah, I don't know. So I could kind of see arguments from both directions there. The bastard gave a curt nod. There were no words to say. The easy part was done. Davos pulled his glove on, wishing he had not lost his luck. We had a better man and a braver one with that bag of bones around his neck. He ran his shortened fingers through thinning brown hair and wondered if it needed to be cut. He must look presentable when he stood before the king. Dragonstone had never seemed so dark and fearsome. He walked slowly, his footsteps echoing up black walls and dragons. Stone dragons will never wake, I pray. Stone drum loomed huge ahead of him. The guards at the door uncrossed their spears as he approached. Not for the Onion Knight, but for the king's hand. Davos was the hand going in, at least. He wondered who would be coming out, if I ever do. The steps seemed
That is one brave man.
Yeah, it's sort of like Brienne, right? No chance and no choice. I've got to save the king.
Right. For to consider himself, I'm just a smuggler. I'm just a smuggler. He's actually did one of the bravest acts we see in the story. Uh, to do what he did for the sake of one bastard boy and defy his king, who, I mean, we know this man is loyal as all get out to Stannis. He's one of the loyalest men the Stannis ever has. And then be willing not to get on that ship and leave with the boy, but to go back and tell the king what he did. Man, I mean, Davos, I mean, the actor who plays him just makes it that much better, but Davos is a badass.
Yeah. The steps seemed longer and steeper than before, or perhaps it was just that he was tired. Mother never made me for tasks like this. He'd risen too high and too fast, and up here on the mountain, the air was too thin for him to breathe. As a boy, he dreamed of riches, but that was long ago. Later, grown, all he had wanted was a few acres of good land, a gold in, a better life for his sons. Sort of the opposite of Barristan the Bold. Anyway, the blind bastard used to tell him that a clever smuggler did not overreach, or draw too much attention to himself. A few acres, a timbered roof, a sir before my name, I should have been content. To survive this night, he would take Devon and sail home to Cape Wrath with the gentle Maria. We will grieve together for our dead sons, raise the living ones to be good men, speaking of more kings. The chamber of the painted table was dark and empty for Davos after the king would still be at the night fire, well sun the queen's bed. He knelt and made a fire in the hearth to drive the chill from the round chamber and chase the shadows back to their corners. Then he went around the room to each window in turn, opening the heavy velvet curtains and unlatching the wooden shutters. The wind came in strong with the smell of salt and sea, his plain brown cloak. At the north window, he leaned against the sill for a breath of the cold night air, hoping to catch a glimpse of Mad Prendos raising sail. The sea seemed black and empty as far as the eye could see. She gone already? He could only pray that she was, and the boy with her. A half moon was sliding in and out amongst the thin high clouds. Davos could see familiar stars. There was the galley sailing west. There, the crone's lantern, four bright stars that enclosed the golden haze. The clouds hid most of the ice dragon, all but the bright blue eye that marked due north. The sky is full of smuggler's stars. They were old friends, those stars. Davos hoped that meant good luck. So here the ice dragon is hidden. Other references fall into a few categories. North or south of the weight of the walls follow the ice dragon. Cold wind at the wall is the breath of the ice dragon. The insides of the wall, the insides of the ice dragon. The ice dragon is Jon's old friend. I like the theory the last of these giants is powering the wall will be freed from this stone at the base of the wall. I think the show wanted to portray this without adding a giant ice dragon, so they gave us a whited white dragon.
Yeah, I call BS on that one.
Yeah, that's my point. It's not going to be a whited white dragon. It's going to be the ice dragon.
We're told the dragons won't pass the wall.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I believe that what's actually they wanted to show the most dramatic moments of the series. They know what they owe her. They had this checklist of things they wanted to do, right? And one of them was the wall coming down with the ice dragon. And they weren't willing to add the ice dragon, so instead they whited a dragon. Specifically, they whitest dragon.
On the top of that checklist was George R. R. Martin wanting 10 to 13 seasons, but that never happened.
Yep. When he lowered his gaze from the sky to the castle ramparts, he was not so certain. The wings of the stone dragons cast great black shadows in the light from the night fire. He tried to tell himself that they were no more than carvings, cold and lifeless. This was their place once, the place of dragons and dragon lords, the seat of House Targaryen. The Targaryens were the blood of old Valyria. Wind sighed through the chamber, and in the hearth the flames gusted and swirled. He listened to the logs crackle and spit. When Davos left the window, his shadow went before him, tall and thin, fell across the painted table like a sword. There he stood for a long time, waiting. He heard their boots on the stone steps as they ascended. The king's voice went before him. "It's not 3," he was saying.
Hold on, wait just a second. All right. We get the strong with the smell of salt and sea, and then now his shadow is like a sword. Melisandre could make a shadow baby with him. Do you see little teeny tiny small hints of Azor Ahai?
For Davos?
Yeah.
Maybe, or they might be intended to point towards Stannis potentially.
I don't know. It just hit me when it said sword, and then the Salton Sea earlier kind of stuck out.
Yeah. 3 is 3, came Melisandre's answer. I swear to you, Your Grace, I saw him die and heard his mother's wail. In the night fire, Stannis and Melisandre came through the door together. The flames are full of tricks. What is, what will be, what may be. You cannot tell me with certainty. Your Grace, Davos stepped forward. Lady Melisandre saw it true. Your nephew Joffrey is dead. The king was surprised to find at the painted table and gave no sign. Lord Davos, he said, he was not my nephew, but for years I believed he was. Choked on a morsel of food at his wedding feast, he said. Maybe that he was poisoned. He is the third, said Melisandre. I can count, woman. Stannis walked along the table past Old Town and the Arbor, up toward the Shield Islands and the mouth of the Mander. Weddings had become more perilous than battles, it would seem. Who was the poisoner, is it known? His uncle, it said, the imp. He ground his teeth. A dangerous man. I learned that in the Blackwater. How do you come by this report? Lysini still trade at King's Landing. It's all her sons. Has no reason to lie to me. I suppose not. The king ran his fingers across the table. Joffrey, I remember once, this kitchen cat. Cooks were wont to feed her scraps of fish nets. One told the boy that she had kittens in her belly. He might want one. Joffrey opened up the poor thing with a dagger to see if it were true. He found the kittens. He brought them to show to his father. Already hit the boy so hard I thought he'd killed him. The king took off his crown and placed it on the table. Door for leech. This killer served the kingdom well. They must send for me now. How dare he call Queen Marjorie a leech? They will not, said Melisandre. Joffrey has a brother. Tommen. King said the name grudgingly. They will crown Tommen and rule in his name. Stannis made a fist. Tommen is gentler than Joffrey, but born of the same incest. Another monster in the making. Another leech upon the land. Westeros needs a man's hand, not a child's. Save them, sire. Let me wake the stone dragons. 3-3. Give me the boy. Edric stormed, Davos said. Stannis rounded on him in a cold fury. I know his name. Spare me your reproaches. I like this no more than you do, but my duty is to the realm. My duty. Turn back to Melisandre. Swear there is no other way. Swear it on your life, for I promise you shall die by inches if you lie. You are he who must stand against the other, the one whose coming was prophesied. Prophecy 5,000 years ago. The Red Comet was your herald. You are the prince that was promised. And if you fail, the world fails with you. That lips parted, would be throbbing. Give me this boy, she whispered, and I will give you your kingdom. Melisandre comes to Stannis, but Jaime has to go to Cersei. Can't, said Davos. Edric Storm is gone. Gone? Stannis turned. What do you mean, gone? He is aboard a Lysini galley, safely out to sea. Davos watched Melisandre's pale, heart-shaped face. He saw the flicker of dismay there, sudden uncertainty. She did not see it. Eyes with dark blue bruises in the hollows of his face. The bastard was taken from Dragonstone without my leave? The galley, you say? That Lysine pirate thinks to use the squeeze gold from. This is your hand's work, sire. Melisandre gave Davos a knowing look. You will bring him back, my lord. You will. The boy is out of my reach, said Davos. Out of your reach. Well, my lady. He said duty. Ha ha ha. Thanks, Beavis. Her eyes made him squirm. I should have left you to the dark, sir. Do you know what you've done? My duty. Some might call it treason. Stands at the window to stare out at midnight. You're looking for the ship. I raised you up from the dirt, Davos. Sent prepared than angry. Loyalty too much to hope for. 4 of my sons died for you in Blackwater. I might have died myself. You have my loyalty. All. Davos Stewart thought long and hard about the words he said next. His life depended on them. Grace, you made me swear to give you honest countenance with obedience, to defend your realm against your foes, to protect your people. Is not Edric Storm one of your people? One of those I swore to protect. I kept my oath. How could that be treason? Dennis ground his teeth again. I never asked for this crown. Gold is cold and heavy on the head, but so long as I am king, I have a duty. If I must sacrifice one child of the flames to save a million from sacrifice.
They keep saying duty.
Yep. It's never easy, Davos, or it is no true sacrifice. Tell him, my lady. Mother said, the Zor high-tempered Lightbringer with the heart's blood of his own beloved wife. If a man with 1,000 cows gives one to God, that is nothing. But a man who offers the only cow he owns? She talks of cows, Davos told the king. I am speaking of a boy, your daughter's friend, your brother's son. A king's son with the power of king's blood in his veins. Elsutter's ruby glowed like a red star in front. Do you think you've saved this boy on your night? When the long night falls, Eldred Storm shall die with the rest, wherever he's hidden. Your own sons as well. Darkness and cold will cover the earth. Meddle in matters you do not understand. There's much I don't understand, Davos admitted. Never pretended elsewise. I know the seas and rivers, the shapes of the coasts, where the rocks and shoals lie. I know hidden coves where a boat can land unseen. And I know that a king protects his people, for he is no king at all. So this kind of reminds me of Tywin. Any man who must say, I am the king, is no true king at all.
Yeah.
As his face darkened. Do you mock me to my face? Must I learn a king's duty from an onion smuggler? Apparently. Davos knelt. If I have offended, take my head. I'll die as I live, your loyal man. But hear me first. Hear me for the sake of the onions I brought you, and the fingers you took. Stannis slid Lightbringer from its scabbard. Its glow filled the chamber. Say what you will, but say it quickly. The muscles of the king's neck stood out like cords. Davos fumbled inside his cloak and drew out the crinkled sheet of parchment. It seemed a thin and flimsy thing. It was all the shield he had. Ooh, a paper shield. I've never seen that before. A king's hand should be able to read and write. Maester Palos has been teaching me. He smoothed the letter flat upon his knee and began to read by the light of the magic sword. Up next, Storm 64, Jon 8. You are a son of Winterfell, a nephew of Benjen Stark. It must be you or no one. The wall is yours, Jon Snow. Arya will be Lord Commander confirmed.
Well, she is Batman, so.
Well, the funny thing is, the very next chapter is the one where Sanders says, so the little wolf girl wants to join the Night's Watch.
And we've had a woman pretend to be a man be at the Night's Watch, and then now you have women guarding the wall at the Night's Watch.
Right.
So
right.
In certain aspects, you see the instead of erasing women from certain things, that other spots they're reintroducing or introducing for the first time. And it's funny, the higher up you go, the more they want to erase them. And the lower you go on their totem pole, not necessarily in our mind, but their mind, their totem pole, the lower you get, the more empowering. Just like Spear Wives, you got women that lead certain wildling parties. I mean, the further north and the lower you go, the more equal, or in some cases superior. Which I'm married, so all women are superior to men. So it's been beating me for 30 years. But the lower you go and the further north you go, it tends to, the scales tend to balance the other way a little bit. I could get political with it, but I'm not. This is not a political channel. But I'm all for I'm 30 years married. I'm used to having a woman in charge. It tends to work out better when she's in charge than when I'm in charge. Even though I like to pretend I'm in charge, I'm not. Hence, I'm sitting here doing a live stream instead of being in the Bahamas as proof that I am not in charge. So, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
I was trying to make a joke. I don't know if I made it. Yeah, like I said, it's been rough. My brain ain't working quite right.
Do we want to talk about House of the Dragon at all?
Oh, this last episode was my favorite of the whole season.
Oh, wait.
Was my favorite. I'm not going to say anything yet.
20 people. I guess we're going to talk House of the Dragon.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say anything about the episode at first, but Season
Especially,
one,
especially for childless cat ladies, right?
yeah. Season one and season two, this last episode was without a doubt my favorite. I told you, I think before we started, it might have been after we started, I can't remember. But my biggest pet peeve last season was the stop motion look of how the dragons just did not blend. Hi, Lady Thistle. Thank you. And they fixed that this season. The dragons look a whole lot better to me.
So R'hllor has some magic power. 4 different actors have successfully done magic invoking his power. Like the videos, Lady Thistle. Well, certainly there is fire magic in the world, and the fire priests certainly pray to R'hllor. The one that's most directly religious in nature would, of course, be the Beric and Darian's resurrection, and then followed by Catelyn's resurrection.
Now, can I touch a little bit on my theory?
Sure.
Okay. The theory that I was working on, and other people, I've read it in comments on other videos about Arya Targaryen going to Valyria, coming back, and then things burning from inside. They were worm-like with hands and faces. And my theory is that it is the power in King's blood is a dormant parasite. And the dormant parasite, dormant, my mouth don't work sometimes, is the glue that held together the making of the dragon using the wyvern and the fireworm, which fireworm is a Chinese dragon, basically.
So one thing I would suggest potentially is what I would think might be an improvement is that perhaps it's actually the queen's blood that matters. Perhaps it's the pregnancy and that actually passes on the parasite.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've looked up several different things about parasites. Lady Thistle was also, I sent a lot to her, sent a lot to Richard.
Just trying to incorporate Preston's X theory of dragons.
Yeah, right? That's a really good video.
Right, and one thing that in the history goes against it is kind of fixed by the Order of the Green Hand, right? Which is if it's actually all coming from the mother, then how do Alicent's children all wind up being dragon riders? And they point out that if you look carefully at the text, it says that the events that led to the Dance of Dragons actually started 50 years before a specific year. And if you look at what happened that year, it's the year that Sarah Targaryen went to Old Town. And so their theory is that Alicent, who looks exactly like Sarah and gets confused with Sarah, is actually Sarah's daughter. Right? And it's one of these situations where somebody is pretended like somebody else was pregnant versus who really was pregnant, and that Sarah was actually. And Alicent is actually Sarah's daughter, and therefore it's still coming from the mother for the dragon gene, or dragon parasite. It's actually a parasite rather than.
Yeah, and before people roll their eyes about the whole parasite thing, they can be passed through childbirth, through just the baby. Not even if the baby is in the womb without the parasite.
That card says, "Oh, new did I have the same theory, but about the Force in Star Wars? A parasite with psychic powers that devours souls to a hive mind."
Deck of cards, you're awesome. But the baby can be given the parasite through the process of childbirth, just by going through the birthing canal. It can be passed down through the father to the child. It can be passed down from the mother to the child. It can be passed down through.
Sure.
There's a lot of things that a parasite can do. And I'm thinking that George, in his research, DNA and all that stuff, I'm not saying that the parasite is what determines who can hatch a baby dragon.
And deck of cards is agreeing that the Sarah Alicent thing is fantastic and goes so well with Preston's dragon genetics.
Exactly. But I'm saying that the power in the king's blood, not the power that makes an egg hatcher available, uh, but the
Well, I'm
power
saying
in
it could be
king's
both,
blood.
though. It could be this actually that people are wrong about it being king's blood. That what actually matters is queen's blood, potentially.
Yeah, that would actually, with them erasing
It
the
fit the whole
female and
concept
then
exactly. It fit the whole concept of taking females in history and ascribing the things that what they do to males and so forth that George is working with here, the erasure of Asherus, the Dione, and so forth.
okay. Now stop and think about this though. When it comes to Gendry, his mother's not Targaryen, right? She's a Florence.
Well, see, that's one of the things that people don't really realize with Hugh and so forth. Is think about this. So Jaehaerys and Alysanne spent a huge portion of their adult lives separated, right?
Right.
And yet they have 13 true-born children. So Jaehaerys liked to get busy. Do we really think that he didn't use sex workers?
Now,
Do we really think there aren't a lot of Targaryens running around?
stop and think about this. Okay. All right. Have you heard of we have a fungus that make ants basically zombies and tells them where to go. The fungus wants to spread. Parasites are the exact same way. There's a parasite that is commonly found in mice. You can find it in birds and other things, smaller creatures. They want to get eaten by cats. Cats are the perfect um, host for this parasite. And the
Andrew's father is
parasite,
13, so it's Pod. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
That's his point is maybe it's not Queen's blood, maybe it really is
Yeah.
King's
Though
blood.
I mean, there are certain aspects to the abilities that the Targaryens have, and the dragon hatching could definitely be from the Queen's blood. I'm saying that the power in King's blood that these fire magic users are using are this dormant
When does
parasite.
anybody ever use Gendry's blood?
Nope, they don't.
No, they haven't. So he
They,
may
they
have
did the leeches now.
blood.
Now, yeah, the
Right, that's where he's going. Deck cards. That's actually where the theory started. Could be related to Area's Valerian
yeah.
parasites. That's
Now, when she goes to Valyria, that is now this wreck. The 14 flames went crazy. There are no longer fire mages controlling the 14 flames.
I feel bad that we told Lady Thistle to leave, and then we didn't talk about House of the Dragon. We started talking about your theory when you wanted her to be.
She's definitely gonna kick my ass. All right, Arya goes to Valyria. The fire magic in the area is out of control. So my theory is that the dormant parasite that is the glue that holds the wyverns, the fire worms, and the Targaryens.
You haven't talked about it. We're just saying that is where it was going. Yes.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah. She goes there. The fire magic is out of control. It awakens the dormant parasite that was used to hold the dragon's fire made magic or fire made flesh, all that together with the three dragon wyverns or fire wyverns and Valyrians, hold it all together, awoken. Instead of it being a dormant parasite that is the glue, it now became alive and it's a fire parasite. It's probably found in the fireworm is where they got it from. It awoken and then started burning her from the inside, giving that it looked more like the fireworm with face and hands, even though that might not necessarily mean that it looked exactly like a fireworm. So it awoken. This parasite awoken in Valyria. She flies back to the Red Keep. There's a scar on the side of Valerion. His blood is a whole lot more fire magic made. So the scar on his side could be parasites being ripped or leaving his body, whatever, I don't know, or it could have been just a fireworm that attacked him. I'm saying the parasites were awoken in Valyria. It kills Arya, and it's the parasites, the glue that holds the dragon together. It's the glue that helps with the fire magic involved in the bond between Targaryen and their dragons. It is not responsible for hatching dragons. I agree that I think that the Preston's right on the mark with that. But it was something to come up with that
Arguing that
wasn't
maybe
in
it
the,
could be. Like I was
yeah,
arguing
yeah,
that it could be. And
right.
maybe things are actually about Queen's blood, and maybe it could be. Is what I was saying.
Yeah, but the thing is, the parasite's main focus is uh, continuing the species. Okay, and we're told repeatedly how horny Targaryens are over and over again. And I told him, Richard, that I just now started reading Fire and Blood, so I'm gonna find out how horny these Targaryens are through the history book. But I mean, just look at, all right, here's spoilers for House of Dragon. Just look at how many bastards that potentially have Targaryen blood or Dragon Lord blood in their in their veins in this last episode of how many shows up to Dragonstone. Uh, they're like Melisandre saying that she could make a shadow baby with Davos. He was from King's Landing, Flea Bottom. He's the descendant of a bastard of House Targaryen. And we only see fire magic users using the power of King's blood. We have the sorcerer who cut Varys and threw his man thing in the fire. That's fire magic. Okay, you got
Oh,
Melisandre with the leeches. You got
and Kristen would argue that Sarah is probably the root of a lot of the actual successful dragon seeds, right? Because they have to have some mother. They can't actually just be from somebody's father. They have to be from somebody's mother. And so he's theorizing that based on his X theory, right? So he's theorizing that Sarah could actually be kind of at the root of some of these people's Targaryen.
Hugh
nature.
Hammers. All right,
Of
Hugh
course,
Hammers has now became my favorite character of season 1 or season 2. I like the look of him and the way he acted. Is it going to go downhill?
sorry. Yeah, you may not want to be too. You may not. You'll be disappointed.
Can I redact myself?
Yeah. You don't want to go. You don't want to go with that one. I'm sorry. I've mentioned before on these streams, Adam and Nettles are the dragon seeds that are good. Adam and Nettles are the coolest characters in Fire and Blood, not Hugh or Ulf.
Well, just the way that Vermithor, the whole scene, it was just like it was like a Thor scene or something. It was oh, whoever, if you watch that episode, go back and watch it where Hugh Hammers is behind the rock with the other girl. Pause it when you can see the girl's face, and then look at Aegon's wife, whatever her name is, the one that has the dreams.
Helena.
Yeah, Helena. They're almost identical.
Okay.
My theory is that for Hugh Hammers to get the dragon the way he did, she saw it, came to Dragonstone, and made it, because he doesn't wave the whatever. And
Literally Helena?
that's what I think, because she looks just like her.
Huh. Okay.
She made it possible for Hugh Hammers to get Vermithor.
Huh. Interesting.
Watch the episode, fast forward to that point, and I had to take my phone and my tablet and pause it exactly when I could see the girl's face, and to pull up a thumbnail of a YouTube channel that had Helena's face on it, and kind of hold it side by side. And I mean, I know my vision is not the best in the world, but when I first saw it, I'm like, that girl looks familiar. And then the next time I saw Helena, I was like, wait a minute, that's the girl from the Dragon Pit. So it's worth a look. I mean, we know about my theories. You got to take
Okay.
our grain of salt.
Okay, so one thing I would tell people as we head towards the finale that I believe that what one of the things Ryan Condal's trying to do is make references to the things from the books that weren't in the original TV show. I think one of those was Tyrion complaining about the small folk loving the queen despite the fact that her side was responsible for the food blockade, right? And so we had Aemond complaining small folk loved the queen despite the fact that her side was responsible for the food blockade, right? It's almost exactly what we see in Tyrion during the Purple Wedding, which we covered recently.
Right. We get the hunting party in the Kingswood that we didn't get.
Right, and then George just specifically complained that they didn't really do the hunt right, and then they did the Lannister golden arrow that Sansa dreamed about, and they did the white stag not being harmed by true knights that Sansa mentions when she's discussing her dream, or thinks about when she's discussing her dream.
Game of Thrones, the hunting, all we got was King Robert holding the boar spear, Lancel and Barristan Selmy, and I think Renly walking through the woods, and that's pretty much it, right?
So we're and then making the 8 thing and all that, right? So there's going to be we're going to see more and more Targaryens be Targaryen royalty being guided by prophecy, and people are going to complain about it. And it's supposed to be a reference to Rhaegar and being guided by prophecy in the Wind of Winter. And people are going to complain about it because people complain whenever he does these references to the books that if it's being done really he's really doing it for the sake of referring to the books, and people complain because of what that means about the characterizations and all this stuff. And then like guys, this whole series is just basically an homage to the books. That's what it is. And so what he's doing is he's just doing Rhaegar. Get over it. I hate when he does this prophecy stuff. And get over it. He's just doing Rhaegar. That's all. That's all he's trying to do. He's not trying to destroy your character from Fire and Blood or whatever. He's just doing Rhaegar. Okay.
Well, I mean, granted, I'm just now starting to read Fire and Blood, and I'm a couple hundred something years away from the Dance of Dragons, which by my math, I'll be there past it before the next season of House of Dragon comes out. No, I think we don't get it till 2026. So we got to go all of this year, rest of this year, all of 2025.
Yeah, we're getting an egg, so.
What's that?
But we'll probably get Duncan Egg before that, so.
Yeah, I think that's why they did it to where they can have in-betweeners. And then after, I think we have what? Maybe four
and they definitely started filming earlier this for 3 than they did for 2, and so there'll probably be less of a gap.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. I can't remember what I was going to say now.
Anyway, so I just wanted to say that you're all the complaints I hear about House of the Dragon tend to be them just trying to make reference to things from the books.
I got no problem with it. I mean, like I said, they fixed my biggest pet peeve, and that was just my eyes.
It's true that they wind up therefore with some inconsistencies in the characterizations and some things that people complain about prophecy taking away free will and so forth and ruining their characters, blah blah blah. And I'm like, it's just doing Rhaegar Targaryen, guys. Just enjoy it.
Now I watched some of the spoiler-free breakdowns of the episodes on YouTube. And there's a couple that they what is it? Heavy spoilers waits to the very end of the video to do the spoilers and stuff like that. So I can watch about 3/4 of his video, but he likes to read from the book and compare it to what's going on. He's not reading ahead, thankfully.
Which channel is this?
Heavy spoilers.
Oh, Heavy Spoilers the name of the channel?
Yeah, but
Okay.
he does the spoiler part for the show at the end of the video. And he'll tell you that. Well, we'll talk more about that at the end of the video. Don't spoil anything if you don't want any spoilers. Back out now. But he'll read passages where they have differed. This is what it said in the book. This is what it didn't show. So I mean, and we're told that the book Fire and Blood is based on whatever that has been written down years after, and so I mean we're told also that histories are written by the winners. Um, so I mean the book is not gospel. I mean it's not set in stone. Um, and I think even George has said this that just because it happened, says it in the book, is not necessarily that's how it happened type thing. So I mean, you got to take the show with a grain of salt sometimes. But all right, we're at hour 6
Yeah,
minutes.
let's wrap up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I appreciate everybody joining today. It's definitely lifted my spirits. Um, Krista Crow and them pull back into port tomorrow, which means I get to see them Sunday, which means I probably won't sleep Saturday night because I won't see them till about 4 or 5 o'clock afternoon on Sunday, but I'll be excited and antsy and anxious just to have them back. I love them to death. I miss them. I'm glad they're having fun. I'm glad they had a little vacation. Carter's been asking for months and months and months. Are we going to go vacation this summer? Are we going to go on vacation this summer? And then he finally got to go on vacation. So hopefully he's happy. Hopefully he was able to have fun even without me being there. But I better shut up. I'll get myself depressed again. Thank y'all, everybody. I appreciate it. Richard, I appreciate it. Everybody have a good weekend. Stay safe. And we will see you Monday back on schedule.
Sounds good.
And y'all take care. Bye. Bye, Richard. Thank you.
Thank you.